and it is 7:02. Is there a motion regarding the minutes or corrections?
I move to approve the minutes.
There is a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed say nay. Minutes are approved. Our first two items are zoning text amendment and a zoning map amendment. And we have received a request to continue that matter. Craig, do you want to address that?
Hi, Craig Sklenar, General Planner. We received a letter from Edgemark Development requesting a continuance to the February meeting of the Plan Commission. This is in an effort to review and revise their plans as proposed originally in their application. So that would be February 8th, 2012, as they've requested.
Craig, has there been any communications indicating they might revise their proposal?
Under our communications right now, they are looking to revise, but they don't feel that they would receive the communications back from Chase Bank in time for the January meeting.
Is there any discussion?
Do we? Yeah, I had my light on. No, but
February 8th.
Is this in response to the neighbors that they're revising, or is there another reason they're revising? Do you know?
I also think it's in response to the staff recommendation memo that we provided in the packet this month pertaining to a concern with the third parcel of land to the west being rezoned from an R2 and removing an existing single-family structure in the neighborhood.
I would argue in favor of the continuance so that we spend time listening to evidence about something that is more likely to go forward rather than something that won't go forward.
Well, I would like to ask a question about the text amendment, zoning text amendments for the drive-through. Are we allowed to ask questions regarding that? Let's say we do enable this we remove the drive-through facility from a list of prohibited uses. Does that mean if the bank closes down because there are too many Chases in the neighborhood that a McDonald's can go there?
Staff recommendation would be and has been to remove the prohibition on the ability to apply for a special use for a drive-through. So if the City Council ultimately were to approve that removal of the prohibition for that small sub-area we designed north of the gas station site, including the gas station site, any application for any of those parcels would still have to go through a special use, still have to be approved by City Council after being considered and recommended by the Zoning Board of Appeals.
Even after a drive-through exists there? So a drive-through exists for a bank and another use wants to leverage that parcel, they're going to have to reapply for a drive-through?
Depends on what the use is. There is a concept of a substitution of a special use. If it were to be another bank, conceivably a substitution of the special use could be granted. If it were a fast food enterprise, I don't see how that would be granted as a substitution for a special use because the intensity of use would be dramatically different. Some of the negative externalities would be very different. So it would have to go through a new hearing process in that regard.
And that is documented that this would have to go through another process, a reapplication.
Well, substitution of a special use has to meet certain standards. I don't see how a fast food enterprise could meet the standards of substitution for a special use for what was granted as a bank use, and then we also sometimes not only grant it to, for that parcel of land, it's also granted to that applicant.
Okay.
It is usually tied to the specific testimony about the impacts and the number of vehicles and so on.
Okay. Thank you.
Welcome.
Any other discussion? Is there a motion to continue this matter?
Motion to continue the matter?
Is there a second?
I second.
Discussion, if you did not grant a motion to continue, what would happen?
Go ahead.
What would happen is basically it would have to be renoticed if the applicant came back. So our past practice, both with Plan Commission and Zoning Board of Appeals, has been to grant continuances in these kinds of situations where there's active reconsideration of a previous proposal after 3 neighborhood meetings and extensive meetings with staff and an initial staff recommendation.
Thank you.
Any other discussion or questions? Hearing no further discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. That brings us to the meeting dates. Item 5. A set of meeting dates has been distributed, and those meeting dates are for Wednesdays. I would like to attend the January meeting, but I will be returning from China, 12-hour flight, 14-hour time change.
Oh, so you'll be wide awake.
And though I should be here in time to attend the meeting, my brain may not be functioning. And I guess if no one objects, I'd like to move that back 1 week so I can attend.
I won't be able to be here. I have a meeting 3 Wednesdays a month, except for the first Wednesday of the month. Right, I have economic development, I have zoning, and they're on.
Our proposal is actually zoning committee of the Plan Commission would not meet in January because there's continuing discussion pertaining to the B&B ordinance.
Is that the following week?
Right, the 18th is technically when the zoning committee of the Plan Commission would meet, and then the 25th is when economic development committee would meet. So we would substitute the zoning committee for a Plan Commission meeting.
That would be great.
Did anybody, Seth, did you, oh no, you looked at the Jewish holidays in preparing this?
Correct.
So we should.
So far as I've seen, no major holiday hits on the Wednesdays proposed.
I'm going to be absent on the March 14.
Can you please make sure your microphones are on?
Was
Thank
this in the packet?
It was a separate attachment because the packet was so large. I provided it as a separate attachment so it didn't get
I
lost.
missed it. I apologize.
I missed it too. I know, I just said that I was going to be out of the country on the 14th. Between the 12th and the 24th, I'm gone of March.
Hard to fix that
Yeah.
by moving a week. I hope you have a good trip.
This is still the
Hope so, too.
second Wednesday of the month, right?
Yeah.
Just like it's been the last,
Yes.
Yeah.
My apologies. I do see a part of Passover occurring on April 11th.
what day is it?
It's a Wednesday, April 11th.
You know, what, I'm sorry, what day of Passover is it, do you know?
Let's find out.
April 11th?
Yeah, it looks like close to the last day.
Then we should be fine.
Yeah.
But I need to look it up. I'm logging in.
It's not actual.
See what?
Passover's the 7th of April, and then
And the 11th should be fine.
Yeah. It would be Erev, it'll be the 6th and the 7th. It's usually 2 nights, the first 2
Yeah.
nights. That would be a problem for us of the not conservative or orthodox. Nice. A new phone?
Yes, I don't fully know how to operate it. Periodically, this melodious voice says, "What would you like?" And I tell it to be quiet.
I think Seth would.
Oh, it's the Samsung. Nice.
So, yeah, I wanted to go on, lady. Is there any further discussion?
I'm just I just logged into my calendar to look at,
Oh,
The fourth day of Hanukkah also occurs on the 12th of December.
that would be all right, too.
well,
Hard to avoid.
if I came, I'd have to probably come late or not show.
Sunset is very early.
I understand.
Every year. So Passover looks okay?
I'm trying to get there. I'm literally trying to tell this thing to, oh, there it is, month. I'm on Plaxo. That's where I keep everything, and that's why it didn't sync with, you don't know this? It enables you to like sync your Outlooks, your online calendars, your phone calendars all in one place, and then your wife and everybody else can share it. I could even share it with you. I think it's fine.
Any further questions or discussion?
Yeah, so the days, so nothing changes here, right?
Except for January 12th. January 12th will be moved to January 18th. Or, sorry, 19th.
January 11th, right?
Been a long day. Yes. January 11th would be moved to January 18th as proposed, and we would not have a zoning committee of the Plan Commission on the 18th.
Okay.
Let's see. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I vote aye. And that's everyone. So no one is opposed. Committee reports.
Yes. Let's see if I get this right. The subcommittee,
Please make sure your microphone is on. Thank you.
the B&B subcommittee of the zoning committee of the Plan Commission met yesterday in a informational session with Alderman Nguyen and Alderman Fisk to try and tease out some of the major issues that they want to address. They want to address ownership of the B&B, parking, the number of days that the B&B can rent a room, the number of rooms, perhaps signage. Did I miss anything? I think that's pretty close. And we will have another meeting scheduled for the 17th of January. And we hope more people can attend because we did not have a quorum yesterday, and therefore it was informational.
Well,
What time?
Apologize.
7 o'clock
AM or PM?
p.m. And that's to accommodate the schedule of the alderman.
I am on the subcommittee as well, but I sent Stuart an email
Right.
before the first meeting took place telling him that Tuesdays and Thursday evenings just don't work for me. Initially, I think his understanding was that the meetings were going to be in the mornings, which would have worked, or Wednesday, Friday, any other day. Tuesdays and Thursdays don't work, so
Yeah.
when we scheduled it, I sent an email saying I can't make it. That's it.
I think everyone on the subcommittee, with the exception of the alderman, wanted to meet in the morning. You didn't? Okay. We should email Stuart and figure it out. Maybe we can change it.
I have kid duty. It's very hard at 8 in the morning when I got to help get the kids to school, and we got kids going to 2 different schools. And Mr. Mom.
Anything further on committee reports?
Actually, I do have a question/comment. I had indicated to Stuart that I was interested, but I didn't receive a notice that you were meeting.
Really?
And I'm wondering, maybe you don't need extra members.
We
Seems
do.
like there are a lot of you.
No, actually, Stuart and myself were the only people there, so we do need you.
If I may,
It's an
since
oversight.
Quasi are on the committee too. It's almost a committee of the whole, and I would gladly bow out. I do have interest in it, but I don't
Can
know that
you
it's necessary
attend-
for that many of us to be involved.
Can you attend night meetings?
Generally, yes.
Do you want to withdraw from the committee if it has to be meeting at
Thursdays.
night for the alderman? I'm thinking about whether there's a quorum. Otherwise, I would never suggest it.
Well, yeah, so long as it's Tuesdays and Thursdays, I will never be able to attend. So, in that case, if that's what I needed, I'll just withdraw, and then Barbara can get in there.
It's not anything that I must do. So
But
I
you
was
can't-
simply offering if there were too many,
Well, one of the issues.
I would drop off.
Yeah, one of the issues that came up instantly is that we didn't have a quorum, so that we could not, in effect, take any official action, which then would come to us. And we need a quorum. And
So-
Stuart is an adjunct associate.
Okay, well, I'm willing to do it. I'm not available every evening either. None of us are, I'm sure. But it would seem to me if we could find a time other than Tuesdays and Thursdays that you absolutely can't come, that would be a good thing.
I don't know if we were locked into Tuesday or not.
Yeah, I think we were. I think when I left here, my understanding was it was going to be one time. That's what I
Wednesday.
committed to.
Yeah.
And I also mentioned to him that Tuesdays between 7 and 9, impossible. So anyway, Chairman, if I have to withdraw so Barbara can get in there, I'm fine. If we can find another day, another time that works, that will also work.
Can I suggest we don't resolve it tonight, and I will help Stuart use a system that asks people when they can come, and then like a Venn diagram, you look for the overlaps. And
Good, well, maybe if we didn't have one time and date each time we meet, then we could have our quorum, although it might be a rotating
a
quorum.
moving date. So I'll
And
send
all
that.
of us could participate as we're able.
I'll send that out for Stuart so that the possible overlaps in availability will be easier to find.
Okay, great.
Is there any other reports? We need to elect officers in the January meeting and re-choose committee memberships. And if you have any suggestions about that,
Didn't we already do committee memberships last time?
we clarified them, but we're starting a new year.
Okay.
So we will be ready for that next time. Is there anything else before someone makes a motion to adjourn?
What's going on in the hallway?
Yeah.
We're having a homeowners meeting.
Okay, that's what it was, okay.
Quick question.
I'm
Great.
like, well, we're going to get, harassed.
Did they knew that Edgemark wasn't coming today? Oh, they did, and they still came.
We can't,
they were notified of the request for continuance, but we can't definitively tell them what you as a commission will be doing. So we at least notified them that the continuance was requested. So.
Thank you.
anything else before we adjourn?
I was just wondering about the status of the rules.
The rules, there are legal questions that are not fully answered, and the staff wants to work on it a little more, and I hope in January we have some recommendations.
Thank you.
Maybe not in time for our meeting, but I hope we have some recommendations.
Well, since February is likely to be a packed meeting, it would be and we have an extra week before we meet in January, I would hope that
We are all in
we
agreement.
could discuss it then if possible. Or do we have other things up in January? At this point, no? Okay.
Anything else? Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
I will second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Again, by acclamation, it passes. I wish you all a wonderful holiday season.
You too.